really always a pleasure and an honor to have with us the queen of pop. So I'm going to start, Usha, by asking you, a Tambram lady in a Kanjivaram sari, what were you thinking doing in a nightclub way back in the 70s? What was that about?
What an amazing thing to say than the way you said it. First of all, namaskar, namaskaram, sat sri akal, salam alaikum. I am so proud to be here, really. Sanjoy, so overwhelmed because I'm nervous. You can feel the lump in my throat. And everybody would say, why would you be nervous? Just like you asked, what were you doing in a nightclub? What did you think you could do in a nightclub?
For those who don't know, Tambram means Tamil Brahmins. That's as conservative as you can with Sudha and Sadanand around.
Absolutely. Yes, what was I thinking? Actually, my whole career was just a mistake. What a lovely mistake, yeah? I mean, nobody ever thought, I didn't for the last, you never thought that I'd take up music as my career, because in school I was thrown out of class. Miss Davidson said my voice didn't fit contralto or alto or soprano. They just didn't know where to put me. So she said, Sami, that's my name. She said, Sami, out of my class. You don't belong here. And so I was thrown out of music class, but they all knew that I was really fond of music and a musical person. So they gave me the clappers to play. Yeah. Not so refined the way yesterday Selva Ganesh played, but something like that. And then they also gave me the triangle to play. So they knew that I had music in me. And I really didn't, you know, your question, very few people really asked me that question. What was I thinking when a Tambram walked into a nightclub? In a small little nightclub in Madras on Mount Road, my aunt, a middle class, very middle class people, and I think we all believe in, you know, picnics. Vacation together is very, very important for middle class people like us. And we went on vacation maybe once in 2 years or 3 years, whatever my father could afford. My father was in the police, by the way, and an honest policeman. So you don't make money like that, just take 6 children going away on vacation. So we went to Madras, and my aunt, who was the then director of tourism, she asked me whether I would like to go for a treat to a little nightclub. And I said, of course, I'd love to go to the nightclub. I'd never, ever been in a nightclub before. And we went over there, and there was this little band that was playing. And my aunt said, why don't you get up and sing? So I got up and sang. And it was great because people clapped after I sang. And I thought, this is really marvelous. And they asked me to sing one more, and I sang one more. Before I knew it, I sang for about 45 minutes. So it really wasn't anything that I thought would happen to me.
But it's really both your elder sisters who were the singers.
Yes, my two elder sisters are the original singing Sami sisters, the duo in India, actually. For those of you who don't know, well, I mean, people don't expect anything like that coming out of India. But my two sisters used to do a kind of a Andrew Sisters kind of act, and they sang beautifully, but they sang only in English. And they did songs like, my baby don't foam no more, my baby don't love no more, my baby don't want me no more. And so they were doing it in harmony, but really they didn't do it so professionally. And I was much, much, much younger. I'm 12 years younger than they. But Indira and Uma, my two elder sisters, were really fantastic singers, really fantastic. And we had no no media like television or anything like that to see and to copy or to be inspired. My biggest inspiration, of course, has been the radio. So I listened to a lot of radio from my childhood. And my whole family is so musical. We had Mozart and Beethoven playing on one floor, my uncles listening to that, my father and mother listening to Frank Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald. And yeah, it was really crazy. And there was also another uncle who listened to a lot of South Indian classical music as well. So we were very, very mixed. But I wasn't mixed. I mean, I was really confused. So many things, yeah.
And how did you discover Harry Belafonte and Matilda?
Harry Belafonte is singularly my biggest inspiration. And all through the radio. And people would imagine probably that, when you get inspired, you're probably going to sing like the person or you take on nuances or whatever. But the thing that really, really made me go crazy about Harry Belafonte was the fact that there was this album that I had heard on the radio, of course, Radio Ceylon, BBC, and Voice of America. This is where I got all my music from. And I heard an album called Harry Belafonte in Carnegie Hall. And that's where I knew that this is what I really want to do, when he got the entire audience. And truly, now when I look back and people ask me, what is it, about your music, or what is it? I think more than being a good or a bad singer, I think it's more important to be original. And truly, I'm 100% original. I've never ever copied anybody or tried even to copy anyone, because I have a different kind of voice. And in India, you know that all the good girls in the movies have to have this high-pitched voice. And if you can't sing like that, then you're nowhere. So this is where I am, yeah? And with a voice like mine, even now when you ring up room service, they always say, "Good morning, sir." Before I used to say, "No, this is Usha Uthup," but they say no. So now I don't even bother to clarify. I sound just like this. But Harry Belafonte, the way he connected with the audience, that's what I wanted. That's the most important thing for me. So I always say music is not my business, communication is. And for me, that was the biggest thing.
But in school, you were a sporty type. You loved sports. You used to walk to school.
Yeah.
You used to think sports all the time.
All the time. And I was a good badminton player. I was a terrific cricketer.
In
but
Kanjivaram silk? Or?
no, just in my school uniform, and my brothers, they were nasty souls, actually. No, lovely guys. But they never allowed me to bat. They always batted, and then they said, "Run!" And I had to run. So I was their runner. But I was very, very sporty, yes. And quite the tomboy, climbing up trees and flying kites and playing marbles and things like that. Quite different from what you would imagine. But everything in my life has been like that. Quite different from what you imagine. People don't expect something like this in a sari coming up and singing the way I do. But slowly, I think the first night, my premiere night, when I opened in Trinkas in Park Street in Calcutta, you could almost hear the front side, ringside seats were also occupied by my husband. I wasn't married to him at that time. And you could almost hear him and hear all of them say, "What's this Amma going to do?" Amma, by the way, is, how do you explain Amma?
Amma is a matronly lady of some vintage, of some girth, but matronly.
Girth, but I was so thin then. What girth are you talking about? I don't even have girth now, do I? It's all in the mind. So, no, I always say that it was really amazing because people didn't expect something like me to come up and, sing the kind of song that I sang. And then after I opened my mouth and I sang, "Never know how much I love you. You never know how much I care. When you touch, you give me fever." And you could almost say, oh God, this is it, okay? So for me, it was second nature to sing like this because this is the only kind of music I knew. And so I'm really thrilled that after 53 years, I live to tell the tale that this is where it all started, okay? So if people, you hear so many of the younger generation doing so many wonderful things like saying, clap this side and clap that side like they discovered it all, But don't ever forget where it started.
But Usha, in Chennai, in Madras, or what used to be Madras, there you had the sabhas, you had the Carnatic classical tradition, and there you were at Savera Hotel, belting out these songs, both jazz standards and others.
Everything.
What was the kind of reception that you received at that point of time? And were you concerned about the whole image, the good girl image thing?
Not really. I'll answer your first part. I mean, what was it like singing in Savera? I think the people, we thought that the older generation would be more orthodox, but I think they were more broad-minded, and they were happy. They were happy audiences, and it's funny, but people from abroad never thought that India listened to this kind of music at all. And so many of us, I mean, who love this kind of music, and we've been listening to jazz and pop and folk and rock forever. I mean, 53 is almost forever, so. So, when people listen to me, I think what they first got out of the curiosity, they would come to listen to me. And then they forgot about what I was wearing or what I was not wearing, and how I looked, and how I didn't have the usual nightclub dress kind of. It was the prerogative and the privilege, really, of the so-called Anglo-Indian who came out in their little black dresses and, lovely cleavage, of which, of course, I don't have anything to talk about, but it doesn't matter. So who cares? Yeah. But it was fantastic because they all accepted me the way I was. And the good girl image was actually what I am. Really good. I'm a good girl. No, but I think, people think that you have so many preconceived ideas about, what you should do, how a girl should behave, or how, especially in places like Tamil Nadu, as you would say, they were orthodox and things. But the most important thing was that they accepted me the way I was. And I think I've been lucky, really lucky, because it was also the timing. In 1969, when I started singing, there was there was not another person who was wearing a sari and coming up and singing in a nightclub the way I
And when
did.
wearing your bindi, and that's a story we'll come to in a second. But going back, you made two of the most incredible restaurants, Trinkers as a nightclub. Till you got there, it was just another beautiful restaurant in Calcutta. And then Talk of the Town in Bombay, where again you went there and you turned its fortunes around. Were you conscious of your star power or your drawing power? These were not the days that you had social media, that people could take a photograph or a video of you and post it, nor was it the time for television. This was purely word of mouth. And if you were cool, you had to go to listen to Usha Uthup in the 3 weeks when she performed at Trinkers.
Thank you. I feel so happy about this because this is, it's just so fresh in my mind, like just yesterday. And yet to think that it's 53 years gone, or more actually, and 54 now. It's just amazing because really people who came to listen to me singing, as I said before, it was out of curiosity, and then afterwards it was a recall value. They heard over the radio so many songs, and they never had the people like Frank Sinatra or Barbra Streisand or Liza Minnelli coming into India and performing, or the Beatles or anyone. So there was a person who was singing all those songs. So it really didn't matter to them whether I was in a sari or not. That was one part of it. But for me, I realized that I did have this kind of power, the power not of being a good singer, but knowing that, quite different from what Kabir Bedi said about love. I mean, I really love. I mean, there's no strings attached, and not that Kabir had any. I don't know about the strings, but still, dear friend of mine. But in that way, I would say that I would do anything to belong and to be loved and to love. So my repertoire grew. People in the audience, if they were listening, if they were, say, Jewish people, then I would sing, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Vimnusmacha, Havana, ranana, Havana, ranana, Havana, ranana, ve mismaha. So I would sing that. And then soon I realized that language played a big part of the communication bit. And so slowly I started learning many, many more languages. And I think that finally turned out to be my USP. The fact that I'm Indian, thank God. I mean, in the larger picture, we're all citizens of the world. But sometimes it's nice to say thank you for the fact that I was born in India. I'm very grateful for that. And thank you for the sari. I think singularly that would be one of the USP because they didn't expect anything like that. So 17 Indian languages I found in Park Street. If there was some Bengalis, obviously there would be Bengalis. So if I sang something of, say, for example, uh, Rabindranath Tagore's song, and if I sang Jodi Tor Dak Shune Keu Na Ashe Tobe Ekla Chalo Re, you know, the whole audience just turned. I mean, from listening to Stevie Wonder, which what I was singing, I just called to say I love you, and then the quick change into a Bengali song or a Tamil song. I do say, in those days I used to say, Bambara kannale kadal sangadi shanale. தங்கச்சிலை போல் வந்த மனதை தவிக்க விட்டாளே hey hey பம்பர கண்ணாலே காதல் சங்கதி சொன்னாளே. So slowly my repertoire.
So you were born for the stage? You sort of popped out and were a performer from
Yes.
day one?
Yes. That's all I want. I just want to be able to perform. I just want to be able to sing. And I'll do anything. If, you know, even like when we're talking here now, I mean, so who wants to talk? I want to sing. You know, that kind of thing. But really, that's what I was born for.
But apart from being on stage, which was really your forte, you were also a voice for 100 products. In those days, you launched every radio and video jingle,
Yes.
from Thumbs Up to Come Alive, Come Alive, Come Alive, Nescafe. But more importantly, you did that in a sense that you realized the importance of recording. And you started
yes.
creating your own equipment, and you started bringing in the best of equipment to
Yes.
be able to enhance the musicality of what you did.
Of the jingles, yes. And you know, they used to call me a jingle queen because Miss Davidson, who threw me out of class, she was the person really.
That will stay with her for a while, as all of you know. She has to do some healing, Punita, some meditation for her.
And she's absolutely fantastic because it's only because of Miss Davidson that I am able to pronounce all my words, and the last consonant is so important, like you say, like, hamala. What is lie, she would tell me. Say, it's got to be either like, or it's got to be life, or it's got to be live. So pronounce properly. And so it is to Miss Davidson that I have to really, really say thank you. And so I became Jingle Queen because I was doing all the jingles for everybody. For those of you who don't know, there was this person who came up to me, Suresh Malik, and said he would come to my studio and say, wonderful, I mean, you know, advertising whiz, he would come up to me and say, okay, think hard and think deep and tell me what happens to your voice when you feel like coughing. Don't give me the word cough or kasi or anything like that. Say it. So So I said, well, actually the word is, he went out, had a drink, came back. He said, did you think hard and did you think deep? And I said, yes. So what is it? I said, I think it's like a kitch. And the word became fantastic, kitch. And then he said, what do you actually feel when you get a bad throat? I mean, what? Don't give me words, he said. Just say so. Tell me what you feel. And I said, so he said, exactly, that's what I want. So I said, gale mein kich gale mein kya karu? Vicks ki goli lo, kich dur karo. Tan, 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 tan. Yeah. So that's how, thank you for those of you who know the song.
Usha, every artist needs some pain to be able to discover themselves or find that dard, the pain deep inside to come out. When you realized with your first husband, when you married him, and you realized at one point of time that this is not going any place, you don't in fact take any clothes as you're leaving the house for the last time in your in-laws' place, and you leave and you go off.
Yes.
Were you able to resolve that, and did that change the way that you saw your music?
I think it did change me a great deal because I think honesty is very, very important. In fact, we've never spoken about this subject. Like most people are wont to speaking about marriages and breaking up and things like this fairly openly. I've never been a person who could talk about it. And it's wonderful that you could bring it up like this all of a sudden. But yes, I must say that the person I was married to first was a wonderful person, actually. He taught me a little bit of mathematics, which I was very poor at. And we got married. I mean, I got married when I was 17, 18. I just completed 18. And, it just, nothing happened. But it wasn't painful, if you know what I mean. We had a lovely relationship. We played badminton together. He did my, exam papers and maths and things like that. But the pain was because my sister, Indira, was married to Ramu's brother. So there were two sisters married into the same family. And I think that was the pain. But actually, the euphoria of being with Johnny, my husband, as I said, I hadn't married him then, and I just discovered how wonderful it was to be with someone it was just marvelous. I think the incentive was there to split from...
But you were really concerned about how your father
yes.
and your mother would react to your wedding, primarily because they reacted somewhat adversely
yes.
to the wedding of one of your sisters.
Yes, because my Uma, my sister, was married to a Parsi. And so already they were a little upset about not marrying a Tambram. But then my elder sister, Indira, married a Tambram properly. But the brother was married to me. So it was a bit complicated. But I think the honesty in the relationship mattered so much, really. And with Johnny, it was just so natural.
But Johnny, who fell in love with you, with your music and your voice in Trinkers, used to come very quietly, sit at the table
yes.
and listen to you,
listen.
Until one day you saw him speaking to your husband at that point.
Yes, and they were very good friends. And the funny thing is, I suppose at that time you are what they want, and then when you get married, you are what they have. So all the ladies would agree with me. So he doesn't come for any of my shows anymore. Then that's been for quite some time. Before, he used to attend every show of mine, every show in Trinkas, till we got married. And then after that, he just didn't come. And I would say, what's happened, John? Why don't you come ever? And, we're not even talking. Why don't we talk? And then he'd put the newspaper down and say, okay, talk. So I learned.
But that's a man-woman thing, right? Punita tells me, talk, I'm like, yeah.
Oh, you do the same thing, yeah. So that's okay. Everybody knows that. So with Ramu, it was different. I mean, he introduced me to a lot of music. We listened to a lot of music together. And he always encouraged me to sing. And he and Johnny became good friends. And Johnny was so
But he
honest.
also told, Johnny told him that I love your wife.
Yes.
And he got really angry with her.
He was really, not only angry, I think he was so surprised, I mean, most men are like that. Why? Why not, So, no, but at that time, I was so young, just 21 years or 22 years. And, but the honesty of the whole thing was so marvelous. I mean, Johnny went and told him, I'm in... Like a movie script, he said, I'm in love with your wife. I don't know about her, but this is how I feel, so I think you should think it over about us being friends, kind of thing. And then it all worked properly. And luckily for me, everything went very smoothly. But any breakup is painful, I think. Luckily for us, we had no children, and it was fine. But now with Johnny, we're married for 50 years. And do you want me to say one more thing about him?
Let's hold that. You've always wanted people to love you, but yet you're not a pushover. No. Tell us about the story where the minister who thought you were this loose character, this cabaret singer,
can you
and
imagine?
refused you permission to sing for a charity in a government hall.
God, you've really done so much. Yes, it's so true. I mean, there was this man, the minister, a PWD minister. You know what's a PWD?
In Bengal, in West Bengal.
You know what's PWD?
Power and Work Department.
Public
Public Works
Department, yeah. Something crazy like this. And he says, Usha is a bad influence on the,
On the culture of the Bengali.
Of West Bengal. And I said, so who made you the Rakhwala of Bengali culture? And he said, you can do anything you want, but I won't give you any of the government halls. And I was really sad because the show was actually for cancer research. And I was so keen to do the show, and it just, just went like that. But I said, no, I will take you to court. And he said, okay, you take me.
And then what happened?
Well, I took him to court, and there was this writ petition for fundamental rights. And of course, I won the case. 100%. Because the Chief Minister, Jyoti Babu, was with me. Yeah, you want to clap, clap. That's what I live for, yeah.
But Usha, not only did you win the case, but after winning the case, rather than saying, screw you, you actually went back to the minister and in many ways sort of created a bond with him.
Yes, he was such a wonderful man, actually. He really made me think, was I doing something wrong? Did I say something wrong? Am I singing something wrong? And I can't figure it out because, I've always been dressed like this, covered like crazy, and I'm wondering why. Maybe I should have been really a loose character. At least I would have been happier, to go back home and tell Johnny I had an affair. What do you That's another story. Okay. But no, the PWD minister, I made very good friends with him. And
his wife, who was actually the person who...
Correct. Who actually... But then for all puja functions and all, we would get together. But till his dying day, he said, Usha, I don't like your singing. I don't like your music. To me, Rabindra Sangeet gaibe. He wanted me to sing
And you went ahead and learnt it.
I learnt it. I passed the exam in Vishwa Bharati, and I learned...
Vishwa Bharati is in Shantiniketan, the sort of place where you go to if you want to understand Rabindra Sangeet.
And Tagore. It's just a fantastic place, really marvelous. And so my first three albums which I made was only because of Jatin Chakravarti. And, till his dying day, as I said, he just told me he disliked my music, and it was fine. I didn't feel badly about it at all. I'm very open to criticism, and what I liked about him was his honesty. I think when you were honest about things that you do really in life, he was also sorry about what he had done, really.
And what's the story with your core bindi?
Oh, this is actually, for those of you who don't know, it's a Bengali letter which says K. And that's for Calcutta. And of course, I keep changing it now and then. When I go to Cochin and Kerala, I say it's for Kerala. When I go to Karnataka, I say it's for Karnataka. So it's okay. But what's with this? Actually, the Hindus in India, we all grew up with wearing small little red dots. In those days, they were very small. Then slowly, as time grew on, we changed. The shapes became different, the colors became different. And now I have my own brand of this, which I've designed, but I buy my own designs now.
The other thing that you've designed, if you can show off to everybody, given that Harvard was showing off his toes, you can show off your kids. Oh. Tell us about the story of your kids.
This is can you see my sneakers? Yeah. They're called Kanjivaram sneakers, okay? So, you see, as I said, no, I didn't say. 30 years of my 53 years of singing, I used to wear stiletto heels and singing, in a nightclub with a band all the time. And it really took its toll on my knees. And I started realizing that I have to sing no matter what happens. There's no way I wouldn't sing. So my daughter said, Amma, if you can walk in the morning with sneakers, why don't you wear it with yours for the show? I said, okay. But I had only one black and one white Reebok, which I was wearing during the show. And I realized it was quite boring. So I cut up one of my saris and stuck borders on it and made Kanjivaram shoes. So you feel like clapping, just clap. Yeah, I think it's very, very, And the Oscar goes to you, of course, with your toes.
And tell us the two cobblers who you
Yes.
helped.
And so I also, you know, the thing is, there's so many ways you can do little things to bring out, to help people, I feel. Especially the cobbler community, the mochis in India are so downtrodden. Really, it's such a pity. Now I have a cobbler who I go to, and he does my shoes. I give him the material and the shoe, and then he makes it for me, and it really works well. But I did go to the President of India with them, and I mean with the project.
With a petition.
Oh, yes. To say, do something for the cobblers, because they're the ones who really make wonderful, wonderful footwear. And then it gets into the big shops and they get the name and the label, and everything is done like that. And, well, we hoped that it would happen, and sooner than later. So I'm still hoping that it'll happen. Maybe it will. But I have that dream of being able to work for the mochis.
And you also did a lot for technicians.
Technicians, all the technicians, yeah. You know, people go and get Oscar awards and Filmfare awards and all sorts of awards, and everybody says, thank you for mummy, daddy, and director and everything. But very few people really say thank you to the makeup artist. Thank you for the person who makes me look good. Thank you to the person who's making me sound good. You know, the technicians are always neglected. So I started something called Stagecraft, and we give awards only to the technicians. And it's such a gratifying feeling to see how happy they are. You know, they risk their lives putting up the trusses and, you know, working the way they work, picking up all this, all the speakers and the lights and everything. It's not a joke. And very rarely do people really give any recognition to them. So Stagecraft is all about giving them awards.
You know, one of the most amazing things about you that I found, 30 years ago, I remember you called me once and you said, why am I not performing at your Friends of Music? And I said, and this was when she was at the prime, she was commanding.
This is hello, I'm at my prime now.
Yeah, she's always at her prime, but this was at her prime. And I was like, well, Usha, we can't really afford you because, this is a club.
Oh, that is a new one.
And what did she say? She said, when have I ever sung for money? You tell me to come to sing, and I will be there.
Always. And you're doing anything with Sanjoy. It was such a joy for me because I always felt that, it was a notch above everything else that one does. And to be able to sing for friends, I have to tell you this. I also asked you, you've got so many different artists performing. Why haven't you called me as yet? And when you said, okay, the next show, it's going to happen. With Sanjoy, it's never a maybe. It's always yes or no. And it's been so fantastic, the relationship.
But this is about you. I mean, the question that I was asking is really your ability to say yes, irrespective. Money never mattered to you.
It never mattered to me. And it's just amazing when you get your priorities right. And you know that in any case, with royalties and things like that, you're not going to make so much money, especially in India. Abroad, you have unions and you have wonderful equity, it's called, in the UK, where everybody is really... But over here in India, when people say, so how's the music scene? I always ask them to clarify film music and non-film music. There's a whole world of filmy music. And, I mean, anybody can ask for anything. And, there's nobody to put a stamp to it or to say, okay, this is what. So you've got to do it yourself. And really, priorities for me is to be able to be with you.
The other thing is amazing about you is that come rain or sunshine, in this case, it's not that everybody thinks you've had this completely magical life. But that's not necessarily been true. In the film world, for example, even as you were breaking in, it was dominated by the Mangeshkar sisters. Yeah. And you were offered the very famous song, Dam Maro Dam, from Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, but finally you didn't get to sing it.
I didn't get to sing it. not in the film. But it didn't really matter to me because the song, I went for the rehearsal and everything, it was for me, but finally it was just taken away. But I'm not an angry person really from within, because even now when I sing this song, I mean, when I sing it tomorrow, I hope all of you will be there. Oh, even now, people think it's my song. So I think when music is out in the world, in the universe, it's for anyone to take, really. And I don't see why people are so, so bothered about it, really. If you enjoy the song and that's original singer or whatever you want to call them is not there, it doesn't matter. Like, really, it doesn't matter. So if I were to sing, I'm not quite sure whether you remember, you had called me at a time when, also for the second show, I think at the Habitat Center, I'm not sure, when Hari Om Hari had just been released. And they wanted me to go for the premiere for that, and I didn't. And I was in Delhi for your show. So it matters so much to me that, everything is not about money, really. It isn't.
And again, you suffered disability. You had a problem with your paw for a long time, and you weren't exactly sure how to overcome it. What was those years like? How did you overcome?
Well, I had what they called hemiparesis, where my left side was totally paralyzed. And I think I just, music was such an incentive for me. And so also Johnny, my husband. It was such an incentive, really, that one forgot one's own pain. But that doesn't mean that you can just get over everything just like that. You've got to really, really work at it, and there's no substitute for hard work and dedication and really wanting to follow your dream. And so I got over the polio. I mean, it was the after effects of fever of polio. As a child, we grew up in times when if you had fever, mommy just gave you that red mixture and you just had it, and that was it. And so I think that it must have been one of those fevers that I had. But in Trinkas, I remember wearing calipers, and I would, hoist myself up to the stage and go and sing. But I never spoke about it, really. It never talked.
And it never stopped you?
No. I don't think it's ever going to stop. I mean, nothing's going to stop me if unless God wants it to happen. But there are things which, like even coming over here, I mean, and probably Punita know how difficult. And it's a nice small audience, so I can talk about it without, without rancor, yeah. My son is going through dialysis, okay, and he's really had a bad time, really bad time. And I had made up my mind that I told Neha that, look, I'm not canceling my being here. But if his blood report, and he had septicemia, that's about a week ago, and 2 angioplasties, 3 blood transfusions. It was such a bad time last week, really. And I told Neha, I'm not canceling anything. Let me see and let me pray that this blood count comes down. And just a day before this whole thing happened, and we got the blood report, and from 38,000 blood count, it came down to 13. It was God's kind. So I was able to make it.
Do you feel you've been touched by God? Are you spiritual? Are you religious? And
not religious.
Do you want to talk about all the religions that you have sort of been through?
Yes, I'm not religious, but I'm very, very God-fearing. And I do believe that, nothing happens without His will, really. And married to a Christian, born Hindu, having Muslims as my neighbors, and, doing everything together. It's just been, really, and of course, like we say, now we have to talk about COVID, like before Christ and after Christ. So before COVID, everything was so different, and suddenly COVID hit you, and really, when you say who shrunk the world, really COVID did. It just brought back the fact that the whole world is so small, so small, and we all go through the same kind of problems. We all have our own crosses to bear, some big, some small, some bigger, but there's nobody without really a cross. How many people have we lost during COVID? And I can't even believe how those 3 years went by. And I didn't step out of my house because my son was having his dialysis, and they're all immunosuppressed. So I didn't step out of my house for fear that it was a danger. But I'm very, 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 very God-fearing. And I think if you lead a very good life and get a lot of smiles and really heart-to-heart relationships in life, if you don't have to know somebody forever. I mean, I could just fall in love with anybody over here. And I have, actually. With JLF, it's been such a fantastic ride for me. Maybe because I've known him and Punita from before, maybe. But the whole togetherness and the brotherhood of man that comes about and the peace that comes about from that is just, you cannot replace it with anything else.
So you were born and brought up in Bombay in a beautiful house.
Yes.
You moved to Chennai. You went on to Cochin, where you lived for a while and then conquered that entire world. And then you came to Calcutta. Where is home?
I used to say home is where my sari is. But now I say home is where my music is. And if I can sing to anybody, this is home. This is truly home. Even Sandbanks, where I cried because they were coming back. I've never seen a sea that was so rough and so angry like we did yesterday. But the love that comes out of the whole thing was just...
Well, the two things that she said to me before she got onto the flight, she said, you know that I have a paranoia about lifts because she got stuck in the New Yorker hotel and they had to cut the lift to be able to rescue her. And that she had this incredible fear of water. And I know that Eva and Punita understand that. And here we are, we brought her all the way to Maldives. And she said, you're going to get me to land in the middle of the ocean. I said, yeah, it's a little bit of water. Don't worry about it. Just close your eyes, sing a song, do something.
But you're so sly because you said you were going to be on the same seaplane as we were.
I did. Just to comfort you. I was there to receive you. But before we open it up, are you going to sing Thank You for the Music? Are you going to sing Matilda?
I know. Before that, I have to tell them about how scared I really am. And can I tell you the thing about the elevator, the New Yorker thing? I'm sure it will be really quite an exciting thing for you to listen to. I was on, they have 13 elevators in New Yorker. And everything is 100% true, because if anything of this gets onto Instagram or here or there or anywhere, this is God's own truth. We had made a plan, me and my musicians, to go out that particular day in the morning. And this must have been about 10 o'clock or something in the morning. And I was on the 22nd floor. And I was coming down. And my musicians had already come down. They were already there. And, hi, Kabir. You've lost so much.
Don't get distracted. Focus on the story.
Focus, yes. Luckily, they don't have those things that go tick, 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 tick.
They're already going tick,
they're
tick,
going,
tick.
No, in all this
Focus,
TED
New Yorker
talk,
hotel.
Yeah, okay, New Yorker hotel. So there I was on the 22nd floor, and suddenly the elevator stopped. And for some time, I wondered what was happening. And it just didn't move. So I pressed that emergency bell. And of course, by then, I'd already started feeling scared. And the tears were, as they say in South India, simply rolling down my cheek. Really, it was really frightening. And I figured out that I had to do something about it. So I stood in one corner, luckily, and I must tell all of you, wherever you travel, always carry your key card with you, because you would have your number, you will have your address, and it's so important. I luckily had that. And I had a mobile in my hand, so I got a signal in one corner of the elevator. And I rang up the reception of the hotel, and I said, look, I'm stuck. She said, yes, we know you're stuck. Don't be scared. Everybody's working on it. I said, everybody? What do you mean by everybody? She said, well, you're the only elevator that's stuck out of the 13 that are in the hotel. I said, just tell me, is it on fire or what is happening? So she said, well, you just keep on talking so we know that you're all right and nothing's going to happen to you. The whole world is working for you. And I said, look, my musicians are sitting in the lobby. One of them looks like this, one of them. Yes, everybody knows about it. I said, is my elevator the only one? She says, you're the only one. And she said, don't you be scared because we're going to do it all okay for you. Then she asked me, what is the medication using? I said, why? I don't know what medication. And she said, no, I just need to know whether everything is okay and you're all right. So I told her I was taking Neurobion or something like that, vitamin C and blah, 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 one pressure pill. And she said, all right, what do you do for a living? I said, if I live, then I'm a singer from India. I've been singing for 40 years. And she said, all right, don't be nervous because I'm talking to you because I want you to be really well, all right? I said, how can I be well? Please do something. She said, look, don't panic. What kind of singer are you? So I said, what kind of stupid question is that? The elevator's stuck and it's already half an hour already gone and you're saying people are coming. She said, okay, sing me a song. I said, wow, this is really something. So I stood in the corner and the first song I sang was the song I sang when you all were having lunch. I said, oh, we ain't got a barrel of money. Maybe we're ragged and funny, but we travel along singing a song side by side. And she said, oh, that's marvelous, so you must be good. Would you do another song? I said, what? I am dying over here and you're saying do another song. So, we're gonna take a sentimental journey, gonna set my heart at ease. I sang the whole song. Oh, that was marvelous. Do you do any of the Beatles? I said, help, I need somebody, help. I mean, I sang my entire repertoire, and this woman went on with her amazing. Then you know what happened? She said, now the people have come, and I heard this loud banging on the door, and they said, don't you worry, we're right outside your elevator. We're going to get onto the other side and cut the elevator. I said, what? So one of them was Italian. Don't worry, Bella Bambina, we have got to you nicely. We are going to cut it all open and we are going to put a bridge between this elevator and that elevator and all you have to do is just walk across. I said, wow, Bella Bambina, he says, okay. So then they started sawing the elevator and, you know, it was so beautifully done. They just took off that and then they made a bridge against two elevators. And I said, I'm never going to be able to. You just hold on to me, yeah? I love the way you look. I said, is this a time for sex or what? So he says, I love the way you look. Why don't you just cross over? I said, I can't do that. So they helped me. And you won't believe it. The other elevator had this what do you call it, first aid with all the saline drip and this and that. I said, what? Am I dying or something like that? What is it? What is it? And they said, no, you're fine. I got into the other elevator and I went downstairs and when it opened, just like the Americans do, everybody was clapping and, you know, it was also, I said, and I've never cried so much really seeing another human being, really. It was so, so amazing. So if you ladies or gents anywhere, thank you. Wherever you go, remember to keep your key card because it would probably have the address. And don't ever get into an elevator without your mobile.
Questions? Anybody? Or we'll ask her to sing.
Yeah, let me sing. I'm dying to sing.
What's stopping you? I've been asking you for a while. You're not listening.
No, I'm listening to. Okay, I'll sing a song. What a fine. I just live for this, actually. No, people don't understand. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to sing this, and just because you heard me tonight doesn't mean you can't come tomorrow. You have to come tomorrow as well because I'm singing. And don't ever forget that I came all the way with the seaplane
Land in this little bit of water, little
little
patch
bit
of water.
and all this, not just to just walk out and go like that. Now come here, and
Okay, he's saying okay.
yeah, can I just tell the story about, in case they missed it, about how Kabir Bedi and Amitabh Bachchan and Satyajit Ray and Jyoti Babu and all used to come to Trinkas to listen to me. Do I get a hand for that? The great baritone voice. My goodness me, how the girls used to run after him. And I'm so glad he's got his anchor with him right now. Really fantastic. And it really makes me feel good, because usually people, wait for big artists to come and listen to them. I'm just talking so you get your music ready.
He's ready.
He's ready. Okay, can I have some more juice on this? Yeah, who cares? Love you.
Go for it.
Go for it. Talk 1 more minute. Okay, talk. That sounds like my... Yeah, so people ask me, ladies, this is an inspiration for you. How does your husband help you in your profession? I said, by not helping. And I said, wow, that's lovely. And it really is the truth, because if he has never, ever interfered in my life, and it's because of him that I really was, not that's not the right word, but it's because of him not interfering in my life that I'm who I am today, being able to sing and grow and live and love the way nobody can, and if there is interference.
So while he continues to fix the music, what made you, so last question, what made you agree to do the book?
The book, actually, it's so funny, because it was just an interview, and I'm so grateful to Shri Vikas Kumar Jha, because he kept saying that, I want to do an interview with you.
And he'd been trying to do an interview for 20 years with you.
So
your assistant just kept fobbing him off and saying...
No, I don't know about that. But actually, I'm very easy. It's so easy to get, Sorry, does that sound good?
Not appropriate.
Not so appropriate, but doesn't matter, so what? So that's how it happened. And it wasn't planned at all. And it just so happened that there was so many questions and so many hours and hours of interviews. Please don't go away with your toes, because I'm singing one song for you. One song. Howard.
Ready? Okay, play. Hit it.
Yes. Yeah. So thanks to, of course, Vikas Kumar Jha for doing Ullas Ki Nao, and never ever thought that it would become a biography, and that's how it really happened, from an interview to biography. The book.
Hit it.
I need some more volume on the track, yeah? More. Don't feel shy. All right, everybody, get your hands together. Come on. Everybody, come on. Especially for JLF and Suneva Boucher. And never been a night like this for me. Look at that. And all the lovely girls who take us in their little buggies. When the night has come and all the night is dark, and the moon is the only light I'm gonna see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. In the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, and the mountains should crumble to the sea. I won't cry, I won't cry, no, 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 I He said
Ladies and
that's all.
gentlemen, Usha Uthup, stand by me.
Thank you. I thought you may say one more. I love you too. Do we have time or you're going to
Yes,
put
of
that?
course. Thank you for the music.
I love you. You got one more? Okay. Did you see that? He's abandoned me. Okay, now. Skyfall. Oh, Skyfall. No, dear, then I'll be losing all my good songs. Tomorrow, okay, sorry. Little bit, jambalaya. Okay. But before that, let me tell you that when I went to Russia and I sang Kalinka, Kalinka, Kalinka Maya, Saduyaga the Malinka, Malinka Maya, Kalinka, Kalina, Kalinka, Kalina, Kalinka, Kalinka, Kalinka Maya. And everybody, including the people from Ukraine, loved this song. And then I went to Kiev and I sang Ти казала в понеділок підом разом по барвінок. Я прийшов в тебе нема, підманула, підвела. Ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела. Ти ж мене молодого зума розуму звела. Ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела. Ти ж мене молодого зума розуму звела. So what happened? Why is it that the world is fighting now? So much time to fight when there's so little time to love, so little time, except at JLF, where it's all happening right now. Can I do Darling? Do you want a little bit of Darling? Wokke. Wokke, you have to say Wokke because in Tamil, if you put W in front of O-K-A-Y, it becomes Tamil, proper Tamil. Means you can say Wokke, here it is. Darling. Darling. Okay, this is one of my big hit songs, and it's become a hit only because of people like you, and with all humility and gratitude, really, to all of you. Thank you. You don't know how much it means to me. Play, play. We have another session. They're telling me the tick, 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 ja, ja, ja. I'd like to say thank you to Rinta and to Samaresh, who've been doing all my work for me. Come on.
आंखों से आंखें चार करने दो रुको ना मुझको प्यार करने दो डार्लिंग आंखों से आंखें चार करने दो रुको ना मुझको प्यार करने दो से आंखें चार करने दो रुकना मुझको प्यार करने दो पीके थे बहारा पीछे न जाने यारा बुलबुलों तो अभी इंतजार करने दो डार्लिंग आंखों से आंखें चार करने दो खादिम को दिल पे तो इख्तियार करने दो डार्लिंग आंखों से आंखें चार करने पब्लिक में सनसनी एक बार करने दो डार्लिंग आंखों से आंखें चार करने दो रुको ना मुझको प्यार करने दो ये कैसे है बहारा बेचैन जाने यारा बुलबुलों तो भी इंतजार करने दो डार्लिंग आंखों से आंखें चार करने दो डार्लिंग आंखों से आंखें चार करने दो डार्लिंग
Ladies and gentlemen, Usha Uthup.
Thank you. Thanks awfully. Oh, what a lovely evening. Thank you.
Usha is going to be performing tomorrow evening, but today she's happy to sign copies of her books right there. Usha,
Thank you.
as usual, incredible, amazing, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for the music.